when 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 we were at the place where we're staying in Cape Town this morning, I don't know who I was telling, but I was saying to the person that my mind is no longer here. I'm already thinking about the next thing. So I think I celebrated 30,000 subscribers before you even got there. The cake is just a formality, So that feeling of excitement, it's already gone. I'm already focused on something else. Although, yes, we'll celebrate, yes, we'll enjoy the cake, but my mind is now focused on the next goal. Yeah.
Maybe we should double down on that. I mean, we sit here with entrepreneurs, with trailblazers, visionary leaders, especially, and this speaks to that trait of having a vision and rather living in the future. What does that even mean?
Living in the future.
Living in the future.
I don't necessarily live in the future, personally, but I'm obviously constantly looking at what is it that I can do next, right? I don't live in the future. I don't live in the past. I let go of things very easily, but I've also got an optimistic way in which I look at my life and look at the things that I'm doing. But there's no living in the future. I hear people say that a lot, that you've got to visualize, live in the future. Yeah, I've got a vision, but I live in the moment. Like if I'm here, I'm here, I'm present. So for me, it's about being in the present and making it count. When I say that my mind is already somewhere else, I mean, I'm now on my next goal. Not necessarily living there, living here, but thinking about how do we execute on our next goal. Yeah.
Let's speak about the movement currently as it's branching out. When someone sees the brand, it's more than just money. Firstly, they ask the philosophy around it. It's more than just money. What does that even mean? And then you realize, oh, there's a book. Oh, these people travel. What are they doing? And then you realize people are branded. You also get to realize that there's a workbook that's something else separate from the book. So maybe let's talk about that, the branching out of the movement, and what are you actually trying to do with the movement?
Well, first, let's start there. The name is more than just money. I coined it. Ne? It's a drop from heaven. But
Okay.
but the thing is, it wasn't necessarily something that set out to be a movement or anything. I wasn't starting a movement. So it was locked down. I was writing a lot of posts on social media. I was sharing property investing knowledge. Miguel actually alluded to that I was writing a lot and sharing social media knowledge, sharing knowledge on property investing. It was locked down. And a lot of people started to comment on my stuff and share my stuff. My posts were trending. And a lot of them started to also inbox me and say to me, how do I make money? That was the question. Every day, how do I make money? Witness, how do I make money? Then it dawned on me that, guys, it's more than just money. Like there has to be a certain way of doing things for you to attract the right people into your space that are going to help you execute your goals. If your goal is just to make money, money is a team sport. You make money because you've got a certain. Did you look at that PowerPoint that Miguel had? It had power team. Did you see that?
I saw the power team.
And yet estate agents, attorneys, all those people. All of that speaks to your capacity to build and maintain relationships with people and also use those relationships to execute on the projects that you have or in the money or the business that you want to start. So that's why it started. And I wanted to write a book that speaks to that, but also teach people how to invest in property, right? There are 3 cornerstones of wealth creation, which I talk about in the book. It's business, property, shares, cornerstones of wealth creation. All of them, they are cornerstones because they've been tested by centuries. Now, one can say crypto is making a lot of millionaires, but it's not a cornerstone of wealth creation because it's not been tested by hundreds of years of being around. Now, business, whether you work in it or you run it, has been around even before Jesus was born. Business has been around. Abraham was a businessman. He was in livestock. The Bible says he was rich. Look at, the Bible says Jesus was born in a manger. Did you know that? Or you don't read the Bible? So it says he was born in a manger, right? But it gives a reason why he was born there. It says because the inn where he was supposed to be born was what? Was full. He wasn't born in a manger because he was poor. He was born in a manger because there was no accommodation.
Yeah.
Somebody's Airbnb was full that night. And he chased away the Messiah. You understand? So that's in the Bible. That's what the Bible says. When you read it, it's both practical and spiritual, but I look at the practical side. Then it talks about that guy that was beaten, and the Good Samaritan came and bandaged his wound. It says he took him to an inn and paid for 3 months. Right? So in that story, someone is being beaten, someone is clothing him or taking care of him, but someone has an Airbnb there. 2,000 years ago in the time of Jesus, that guy was making money. We don't know his name. We don't know if he's black or white, but we know he made money that night. And Jesus is the one that tells the story. He doesn't condemn the guy. He doesn't say the guy is greedy for not allowing the other guy to stay for free. He condemns the Pharisee who looked at the guy past him. He condemns the priest who looked at the guy and passed him. He commends the Good Samaritan, but he says nothing about that guy. But that guy is making money. In the whole story, the significance, how I read that Bible, when Jesus is talking there, I say, Lord, I hear you. This guy was making money.
Message received.
Message received. Right? And then thirdly, you look at shares. Even when you read any ancient book, if the king wanted spears to be made, right? And the person that makes the spears couldn't afford to fund it with his own gold, he would go and borrow or partner with other people that invest in his project so that he can produce the spears. That's shares. It's shares. It's been around. When the companies on the JSE get on the JSE to raise money, they're borrowing from the public. They're raising money from investors, public investors, so that they can execute the duties of the business, which is to make and create profit, ultimate profit for the shareholder. Primarily those that are working in the business and those that are investing publicly through the stock exchange. So it was written for people to understand why it's important to center everything that you do when it comes to money around the cornerstones of wealth creation, doing business, investing in property, and extending your investments into shares. However, how actually the YouTube channel, for instance, was started. My ex-wife and I used to mentor some young guys in church, right? And there was this boy I used to mentor. I used to pay for his camps, basically anything he needed, I'd pay for.